Here we go! Welcome to the Dice are Good Bad Storytellers. I am your DM, Jacob Schallenkamp. We're working on that. And I am super excited to welcome you all to the table today. It has been a bit. A wedding has happened, a move has happened. We're getting used to this new space. I believe a surgery has happened, and we're all so happy to see everyone alive and well here at the table. And we're picking up speed. To kind of do a quick synopsis, you guys did extremely well at our last encounter here, navigating the entirety of Sheen City in about 5 hours, while taking down giant hugbot zombies and generally kind of screwing up the side with freakishly fast dogs, freakishly fast hellish dogs that really tore the paint off the buildings they were running by. And a dragon and all that sort of stuff. And we kind of froze near the edge of the city where finally Peregrine relaxed after realizing that they'd made it. They made it to the city limits. And he was almost duped by a bunch of old people playing bingo. Yeah. But here we are. You did very much scare a lot of those old people. But now we are going to zoom back a little bit in time, right when the start of this, to a separate section of the area. And continuing on right from the scene that we left with Marge and the Dark Blade Steekus, who had just made a deal with Marge right as this grand event was happening in the city that was going to remove any illegal or unauthorized divine or hellish presences from the city of Sheen. Rachel, is now a good time? Are you there?
Yes, sorry, I'm just eating dinner and I feel uncomfortable being watched while I eat.
You're all good. If you want to just do audio, that's totally fine.
Very good.
So, Rachel, you have just made your deal with the Grand Blade Steekus, a very good deal for him, where you offered him your lifetime devotion in return for becoming a warlock of Asphodel / this sword. It's a very unclear demonic deal, most of them seem to be, but you feel your youth returning, your youthful strength returning back to when you stormed beaches and crossed the nation down in Torellin many years ago, many decades ago. You feel lithe and healthy, even though you are still as old as you were before, and you've got your gray hair. What's your instinct to do here? There's a party outside, there's a ruckus. It's kind of hard to tell if it's totally all positive, but usually people get a little rambunctious at these parties. What's your thoughts? What's going through Marge's mind?
Can you remind me, because it's like been a sec for me.
How old actually?
What?
How old actually is she?
That's a good question.
Oh, Marge is like 75. Oh my god. What's this?
I'm just picturing one of the Golden Girls, basically. Like,
that's a very good visual to put. Like one of the Golden Girls fantasy land, and she's human, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a human. So I'm gonna offer you a handful of things. I want you to roll me perception checks, just one of them, to start off here. And your apartment's kind of ruined in a little bit of way.
Oh yeah, Steekus ruined my stuff.
Yeah, Steekus kind of did a lot of smoke damage to your apartment here. It's like, oh, geez, you just called your blade a bitch. And he's a glowing, fiery, black, like cinder-strewn, hellish blade. And I think as you're rolling this perception check, let me know what you get.
13.
13. You feel like your normally very sharp senses are kind of dulled right now as you feel Steekus kind of rummaging through your mind, not like rudely like pulling out memories and analyzing things, but just kind of like glancing over your history. And you have all these like fresh memories come up of you being a warrior, you being a soldier, storming beaches in Torellin, fighting Eogran dwarves, having a long history of opposing the forces of the Eogran dwarves in Remalin, and that being like kind of the keynote part of your life. And I think like you sense a sort of like happy surprise from Stekus. He goes like, "Oh yeah, we can work with this. All right, all right. I thought you were just a granny. Okay, okay." And you kind of feel like a little bloodlust is too strong, but like warrior's pride rise up in you, just kind of like, hell yeah, hell yeah. It's around this time that you hear some of these shrieks and yells coming from outside.
Like from outside her door or like out on the street?
Out on the street, like far away.
Okay, I imagine Marge kind of like shuffling over to the window and she's like, what the same hell is that? Just like throw them open to see what's going on.
You pull open your window. You have this beautiful condo on the side of a skyscraper out here. You step out and you see that there have been a series of gunshots down in the square, and where there once was the Epherdine Horde, you know, this large tower that you would go to every once in a while to socialize, that kind of thing, is now this illustrious city park. There are some you wouldn't recognize them as feds, but you recognize them as like well-dressed government workers holding guns. And you can tell immediately, just kind of from your military background, that there are snipers trained on this square.
Ooh, that's exciting.
You kind of hear the blade. I'm actually going to roll some checks for you here.
I don't have a chair right now.
Ooh,
I'm like,
just got a nat 20 on this. You kind of sense your blade going, they're on the building. They're on the building. Come on, let's see what you got. Let's see what you got, Granny. You just laugh at him.
like, what the hell are you talking about? like back up, start over. What do you mean?
I'm gonna, because this is a nat 20 and it's kind of a flashback, you see you get a flash of your past, of you taking down Eogran dwarves and like routing certain groups. And I think, you know, we're gonna offer a lot. This is gonna kind of tell you the whole story from the back, but you immediately see that this tactic that is being used, you've seen it before. You see that this is an effort to slow down a single person, and it was used by Eogran dwarves and Remalin to slow down Iala and Dorn summoners, the summoners that were the parents of Leo, from storming into Eogran territory. So this was like, stop the summoner, stop the demonic forces from rolling over, / angelic forces from rolling over the land. And they were basically doing like a mini version of that same tactic here in the city. And so you're like, okay, they're going to have snipers on the roof the entire time all this is going on. They're going to be shuffling people back and forth to monitor their progress. And they're going to be adapting their progress as they go. And so you're like, okay, if I get on the roof, I can track them down. I can start following them. And I'm going to say you're going to have advantage on spotting whether someone is an Eogran dwarf or not in disguise, because you have so much history with their tactics. And so, you know, all this stuff, you got all this like flowing back into your brain as you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't used this information for years. I wonder how much they've changed their tactics. What's going through Marge's mind?
I mean, Marge is probably stoked as hell. She's like got all this like this raw strength like coming back, and like the glory days are just flashing through her mind, and so she's like, all right. And Stekus. She called him Stinkus, I think. That sounds right.
That sounds
Gosh. Oh, hi. Hoku said hi. I think she'd be pretty hyped, and if he's like hyping her up, like, all right, let's go. Like I feel like she'd kind of like buy into it a little bit and like, Okay, okay. Like, it's been a while, but let's go.
All right. So, because this is all backstory and we want to catch up, we're a chunk in. I'm going to kind of narrate a chunk of what happens, but stop me if you want to investigate something or you see something that's like, like you would investigate further if I try to blaze over. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm going to say that you use your insight. You go, okay, I got to get to the roof immediately because they're going to be going up above where people can see them and be using tactics to like avoid being perceived. And you come up, roll me a stealth check if you're trying to avoid detection. And you see a series of snipers. As you get up to the top of the building, you see about 3 of them go down from enemy sniper fire right away.
I got a 19 on stealth.
Okay, yeah, you let me roll just to give them a chance to be fair. Yeah, they got all very, very low, 4, 2, 12. As you come up, you see 3 of them go down and they are panicked as well. It looks like there is counter snipers taking out this force on the roof. And as they go down, their glamours go away and your suspicions are immediately proven correct. These are Yagran counter spies that are trying to shoot down on some entity down in the square. I'm going to say before you even get an opportunity to engage these, the other 2 snipers that are trying to take fire go down as well. And you're left kind of up at the top of this building with this sniper group that's, at the top of your personal building where you live. And you can kind of tell like Stikas is very unhappy that he didn't get an opportunity to go after these dwarves. I'm going to say there's a lot of information going on here, and a lot of information that your character would know just by nature of being a soldier. These snipers were supposed to meet back up with someone later down the path of wherever they're trying to avoid this person getting to. Whoever, this tactic to slow this person down. And so you have a lot of choices here. You can go in different directions. You can choose to engage people. You have a lot of options.
I mean, like, I don't know, because March doesn't know who they're, like, who's at the center of all this action. And I feel like that would kind of influence, like, how involved she would be. But I don't know if there's a way to, like, figure that out, or for her to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll just do a general perception check. You come up to where the snipers were and look over into where they were shooting at.
Okay. Perception 17.
You see a smorgasbord of information as you look out. A giant green dragon carrying a big blue man flies past your building. Several demon dogs jump out, and you see who we know to be Kubo, but you don't know this yet, take off a golden gauntlet off of a man that has been killed in the square. And you recognize this golden gauntlet immediately as high Yagran nobility. Whoever these people are, they just killed a very important person to the Yagran forces. Last thing you get from all this information is your sword lunges hungrily at this person that is being carried by the dragon. Your sword is very curious about this big blue man, and you sense that it is because he is angelic. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like you can't know immediately by glancing at, but like this person's important, whoever's being carried by this dragon, like that's the target. That's the person they're trying to slow down from getting to the end, and they have been routed. You've just stepped into a very successful counter ambush with all these snipers going down, their main like political target, this high level Yagran dwarf target going down, and now you're kind of sitting and watching them successfully flee.
Okay. Did the dragon fly off in a way that she'd be able to chase? Like if she's like friggin' hoofing it over rooftops or something, or did they like go way too high?
I think you would be able to chase after them. I'm going to make you roll pretty high strength checks to jump from building to building, but I will let you know that that is something within your capacity to do, especially if you burn a spell slot. You have a, what is it called? 1 second, I gotta pull up your spell slot. You have something called levitate.
I do.
Ooh.
So we're going to be doing some, home brewing, but basically you're able to, you have an extremely high strength score as well, courtesy of Stekus.
Yeah, let me. Oh, there it is. Ah, shucks. That was an 8 on the straight.
Only an 8?
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you get excited. You're like, I couldn't do this before. Maybe I can do it now. You try to jump off the building and go across. You get about half the length between buildings, and you slip a little bit, and you start falling straight down.
Damn it.
There's a moment of sheer panic, and then you feel Stekus cast levitate on you, and basically allows you to slowly descend. And so you feel like a steamy fire exude off of your body, and you just start to you start to slowly descend to the city street beneath you. You can tell that if you take side roads and you basically keep visual on this dragon, you can still run hella fast. And so you're not going to be able to keep pace with the dragon, but you're going to be able to visually see what's going on.
Okay.
Are you trying to just keep visual on this dragon?
Yeah, I want to see where it's going.
Okay. Roll me a Constitution saving throw, just because you're basically jogging after this guy. I think you hear Stekus going, oh, you can tell what I want. You can tell what I want. You're fun. Ooh. And is basically just kind of whispering in your ear the whole time.
Oh, cool. Hey.
Giving chase.
Also, I just realized that I rolled the wrong thing for strength, but that's okay because that was funny. Constitution saving throw 16.
Yes, 16, great. You are, you're getting a little winded. It's surprising. This is many times over what you could have done maybe 30 minutes ago. And so you are feeling yourself being fine. You're getting maybe a little bit dewy, a little bit sweaty, You continue on and you see the dragon get downed hard. First, you see one large creature get launched at it. You immediately recognize this creature as an Ayagran dwarf construct. It's an undead creature. These things would take out 20 soldiers in a row. These things were horrible. It would take 20 to 30 soldiers to even get one of these things down. And you see the dragon go hard, but you see another one go off into the city nearby you, and blow a hole in a tower, blow a hole in a skyscraper, and you know that thing is going to take a lot of lives. Roll me a perception check here.
Sorry, I'm sitting on the floor. Oh shoot, I got an 8.
Wow, interesting. These are some low rolls. Okay.
No.
Let me see.
Saving them up.
My freaking perception's +5. That's depressing.
Yeah, you have a +5. That's wild low. So with a low 8, I think the only thing you get for that is you're missing something critical, but you can't track it down, and you know that you unfortunately aren't able to see it without something that low, but you know that if you go and stop this creature, that will save a lot of lives. And so you can tell they're doing distraction method. They're going to be trying to do something while this is happening. The Agran dwarves are always trying to do at least 3 things at once, but you can't see it. You're too in this bloodlust. And you can see kind of Stekus getting excited about this creature that fell into the city nearby you. And so it's maybe a couple blocks over, and you could choose to try and track down their other thing, or you could choose to take out this creature.
The creature that went off to the side to freaking murder people?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I should probably do that.
Okay. This thing is really obnoxious to fight. It took us a long time to fight before, but I want to illustrate how strong you are, slash, how much stronger you are than when you were last a soldier. So I want you to roll me 2 d20s and just tell me which one of the higher you get.
I 19.
Awesome. Okay, so this is just some shorthand we're doing here. You only lose 3 hit points in a very long, drawn out, and frustrating battle with this creature. And it is like a stitched together giant homunculus. And these things were known for stopping entire caravans. And it takes you a good chunk of time, like a full hour and a half, of just hacking and slashing and using new spells you didn't know you had. And like, basically, it's like you getting to know Stikis through battling this creature. And they are dumb. They have very few brain cells. These are giant, and it's kind of funny. You might want to watch the previous session to kind of get a full picture of what you're fighting here. But that takes up a huge chunk of your time. But you also know that it took up a huge chunk of the dragon's time. Roll me another perception check because we're just rolling on through.
That's all right. I'll try not to take too long so that everyone can do.
You're all good. You're all good.
Oh, I got an 8 again. What the hell?
Man, that is wildly low. You're covered in zombie blood. It's invigorating, but you're also kind of feeling it. You're like, Stikis is roaring in your hand. Very excited. This is, one of the more exciting experiences it's had in a while. And you were just kind of going in the general direction of where you believe that this dragon went off to. And I'm going to roll just a general check here as well. You see a bunch of people coming back from the edge of town where it seems like this blockade was finally set up. And there are a bunch of people, There are a bunch of like old men and old women, that you like would play bingo or cards with on like the weekend with. And you see that they're all just kind of grumbling. And you see one of them, his name is, we'll just name him Chuck. He's this old guy, Chuck. You can hear him grumbling. He just goes like, "We spent all day over there, and we didn't get jack diddly. We get yelled at. They didn't even have good lunch for us." And you hear them kind of like grumbling back, like, "Yeah, it was nonsense. They're very, very angry.
Can I talk to him?
Yeah, you can go talk to him. Chuck immediately goes like, "Damn, Marge, is that you? You look great. What are they putting you on?"
Wait, am I still covered in blood?
Yeah, you're covered in blood, but still extremely strong and warlock juiced up.
She just kind of like looks down at herself and she's like, "Fiber." Still doing great stuff.
Chuck just kind of nods. You might think that he's a little curious about how legitimate that claim is. But he just kind of looks over you and he says, "Well, all of our crew over here, we were given like kind of a free bingo game, and things get boring over at the retirement home, so we just went for it. And it was the worst game of bingo I've ever played in my life. It took us like 8 hours to even win once. And then everybody started winning, and they ran out of prizes all of a sudden. Then they started throwing stuff at us. So a well-tattooed young man started throwing the tables around. So we just kind of got the heck out of Dodge, and it was a bad game of bingo. You're lucky to have missed it."
Where was that?
He points down the street to where, kind of the edge of the city. He's like, "They had us in a big old barge. They drove us down over there. And yeah, it was the worst game of bingo I've ever had in my life. There was no organization. Afterwards, we just kind of wandered off and nobody stopped us. So we just kind of went with it." Their announcer was very charismatic, though. Had a very charismatic announcer near the end. That's a good shift.
All right, you know what? I'll go put in a word with them about your experience. I'll go talk to the manager or whatever on your behalf. I'll go check it out. And I'll talk to you later, Chuck.
Yeah. I'll appreciate that. Are you? Yeah. You're good. You can tell he's a little intimidated by the sword, but Chuck has always been a fan. He's always thought you were cool. He didn't have a military background. He was, not as cool as you in many ways. But yeah, they kind of generally greet you pleasantly. They're all at a bus stop, and they all totally ruin a bus stop by getting completely filling a bus and going deeper into town. But yeah, you continue on, and you see the aftermath of a pretty nasty, again, another failed Eogran dwarf blockade. And you see that there is a dragon in the midst of totally ruining these ballista that were set up. And you recognize that these ballista were what shot the large homunculus-like creatures far over the cityscape. And you're crossing in, you can tell, again, you're kind of coming in after the aftermath of a lot of this. Almost all of the Eogran dwarves have been routed and are fleeing. But it's around this time that the sun finally sets, as it's been this glorious, beautiful, incredible, sunset, and the sun finally peaks, and there's no remaining amount of the sun showing up over the horizon. And you feel this great cleansing, this great angelic presence descend on the city, but not go past the city limits. And this is all kind of, we're just rolling with this. You feel the angelic presence wash over you and basically kind of interrogate your connection to Stekus to tell if it's legitimate. And basically you get the psychic sense of Stekus going, we're good, look, it's all signed and deal, we're all good, she agreed, I'm good. And they kind of try to push on it more, but it's legitimate, and you do not feel Stekus ripped from you. And you can see that this angelic flow of energy reached to the edge of the city limits, and that is where you see the blue large man that was being carried by Odina, the dragon that is now destroying these ballista. And you feel Stekish kind of lurch forward. And we're going to come in media res back into the rest of the table where everybody is here. And you guys have been negotiating what the hell you're going to do now that this is over. Peregrine has announced that, hey, we're done with Sheen City. I'm getting out of Sheen City. This is BS. I don't want to risk getting sent back to heaven for this. And everyone's here at the city limits. Leo, Kubo, everybody. And you guys are here. We're going to say that Rachel shows up sometime in this next little bit here as you guys are resolving things. Deza also pulls up in her car, and she sees her dad not being ripped up to heaven and is going, oh, you guys made it. That's amazing. Okay.
We these old people, we fucking did it.
And Kubo and Leo Kyle and Leo are here as well. Deza gives Kubo a great big hug. You guys kind of do a little spin midair. And you guys are a little muffed up from all of the combat, but for the most part, the people who are hurt, who are supposed to be hurt, like Kubo, are hurt, and everyone else who's like the shrimpy guys are totally fine.
Diana's still destroying things.
Yeah, she's kind of currently busy
I
destroying
think
things.
that Kubo kind of to himself, but even hears him, he just kind of mutters to himself in awe at first, what a woman.
Kyle, let's give Kyle and then Leo a turn here. We can hear you.
Sorry, I was mostly paying attention. I was mostly planning my thing here. What am I reacting to?
Whatever you like to do. This is post you almost getting yoinked, and you very, very heroically offering yourself to be a distraction to get.
It was very heroic, wasn't it?
Yeah. And now you guys are successful. You guys have reached the end. Leo pulls up as well. His extremely fast dogs kind of getting you guys here to the edge of the city.
We dragged that like mobile casino out here with us, right?
Yeah, it's currently on the side. All the old people have left it.
I'm gonna go start looking through it for beer.
You're so valid. Holy shit.
Not the money.
What? We're
You start rifling through for some spirits here over there. You can roll me an investigation check. And Leo, your 3 extremely muscular, hellish dogs are panting lava onto the grass nearby, just kind of looking up to you, happy to be here.
and yes, Kyle glances over at that. He mutters, "Man, it'd suck to have you as a neighbor."
I don't think I'm that bad. And I'll dismiss my dogs entirely as they just kind of evaporate differently than just poofing.
Interesting. Okay. So you fully sever the contract. You kind of see Peregrine wince, just kind of at this hellish deal going on. And Rachel, you feel a large contract being severed nearby. This is a lot of divine magics going on. And you can just sense that there's a lot of divine / hellish activity right over there. And you can see visual. These guys are important to the Ogren dwarves and connected to heaven. But yeah, fully severed. Peregrine kind of stands up. All right, well, we're gonna have to discuss a bunch of stuff now that my plans changed. Leo, you're still a friend. Care about you a lot.
You're mine. No, I'm kidding.
Is Ariana still here?
Ariana actually was in the car that Deza pulled up. They kind of looped back around once they were sure things are safe.
You like saved my mom.
I need to put on like a little like a who wore it better with me and Peregrine and with me and Ariana.
Oh my god. A pageant. Set the stage.
Oh yeah, it's
You know the who wore it better on like the back of People magazine where they have the 2 people with the same outfit. They just disguised as them both during last session.
Yeah, the was it the Rogues Weekly newspaper. That's a great cut shot there. Yeah, Peregrine kind of stands up and goes, all right, well, Ariana, we're gonna make our way over to our country home here, and we're gonna kind of reconvene, decide on how we're going to make decisions here. He looks kind of at Ariana with like this kind of knowing, frustrated look, and kind of looks to Kyle and he goes, I'm really tired that you actually I just don't like that I didn't know you were my wife this morning. That wasn't a great thing for me. So we're gonna talk. He kind of looks back and forth between Ariana and him, and we'll meet you out in the country house as soon as you guys can all make it. Okay? Okay.
I love you.
Well, did you know last night?
Oh my god. Oh,
Peregrine tries to shut that down as hard as he can. And he just kind of sneaks into the car and starts driving off with Ariana. And you can hear them arguing lightly, but rambunctiously, just kind of being unhappy. They're going to start driving off. I'm going to say that we're just going to hold that 19 because it's kind of in flux time. And you were pretty well hidden, kind of over like a bluff. We'll say that you're behind, like, you're about like maybe 120 feet off, and you can see this, but you can see that the blue man and a very, very pretty lawyer woman gets into a car, and they start driving off into the countryside. And you can kind of hear Stikas going, he's getting away, it's a connection.
Josh is like, shut up.
All right, yeah.
No, she's not gonna hoof it after the car. That's
Okay.
not enough running today.
Okay, cool. So we're gonna kind of go into flow time here. I think
Aggressive.
that you can introduce yourself at any point here, but time is just going to keep marching forward. Raise your hand, or actually do the raise hand in Skype if you have something you really want to talk about. But as this kind of finishes up and you guys all rest and get recuperated, Deza is, they're handing out healing potions. Yeah, Kubo.
Oh, I just want to say that after that little thing, maybe after I leave, Kumo just turns to Kyle and he's like, "Did you fuck my dad?"
You got to speak up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think Kumo just kind of, he grabs like some cocaine out of his pocket. He just has a huge line, and he's like, "Oh, we're going home. I'm going home. Who wants to ride with me?" And he's like, "You should try it. You should try it."
Do you really think you should be going back in there?
Where?
Sheen.
Oh, this is
Yeah, Deza kind of looks back like, I don't know if we're safe to be in the city. I don't know how it works for us.
So that's a good point. We could find out. Well, I mean, 1 second. I apologize. He starts like twitching. He's like, "It's kicking it." Oh god.
Like,
It's
this is
kicking
really,
in.
this is really bad,
Oh,
Kubo.
Sorry, no, don't worry about that.
That's
I'll just follow you. We can just follow Dad. We can take everyone out to the cottage if we want. Like, we can go say hi to Callie and Dorothy. That'd be cute.
Deza turns, gives you some water, makes sure you sit down, and kind of removes the rest of your cocaine from you.
Good. No. I mean, I guess after everyone's done, I think Kubo would just see what Odina's doing or wants to do.
Yeah, so it's around this time that another car pulls up to the edge. You can see that some feds are starting to resolve a lot of these Iagran dwarves trying to flee. It's hard to know how many of them managed to escape or how many of them actually, are Iagran dwarves or were fed agents that were pretending to be allied with the Iagran dwarves. And basically, Borin's forces come in. And Borin is this large Minotaur man that made the deal with Kyle forever ago. Kyle, I want you to roll an insight on this. And I think that Borin is very clearly trying to avoid eye shot of Odina here. But he comes up, there are a couple agents, and he's happy. He's very happy. He goes, incredible work. We got Warren right off the bat. And he's like huffing and super excited. He's this big old beefy cow man with kind of long hair. And he kind of looks to Kubo and he's like, "Can I have that gauntlet? We kind of would love to have that gauntlet that you got off of Bobbin. That'd be great."
Oh, do you know how to...
I wouldn't mind a chance to study that.
Okay, there's a lot going on here, but we're gonna work together on this. We're gonna work up on this. He kind of has been walking up to you guys and kind of closes the circle so that he's behind, so that Odina is can't see them as you guys are talking. So Odina's still kind of rampaging in the background. She's like, they got Fluellen. They are transporting her over to Torellen, I believe, as we speak. Hey, they work a lot of circles. They do a lot of stuff, and I don't want the dragon to get mad. So we're just gonna. I know. I'm as upset as you are. I swear. I'm just trying to make sure we don't lose any more men today. Okay, we're all good. We're all friends. We're all on the know. We're all in the know. We're all good.
Wait, are you a fed? Oh my god.
And I'm gonna roll something for
closer. I
Odina.
can't hear them. Is there any way Maddie could come closer? I can barely hear them.
yeah, she's very
Yeah, give me a second.
canyon.
Yeah.
Sorry, we thought that if we did it this way, it would be mysterious, but
Well, we just. Yeah.
I want to hear Kubo's quips or maybe his anxiety before he takes a line of coke. Either way.
Okay, well then, if it helps, a couple moments ago when he realized that the Minotaur guy was there, he just went, "What? Are you a fed? Oh my god!"
He's a fed.
Steps back a little bit, a little afraid.
But yeah, what did you get on that insight, Kyle?
13 even.
13 even. You get a very light, there's more bad news that he's not mentioning, but that very light.
Yeah, so what about you-know-who?
Bobbin, he's dead. Isn't that great news? It's good news, everybody. congratulations, one of the Fare family down. Mission accomplished. Really good job.
I just glare at him. He knows that's not who I meant.
Yeah, he kind of nods and he's like, she's coming up. She's coming up.
I can like go. Leo, do you need to do anything? Maybe we should go check on Daza. Or you can stay. I'm not your dad. I don't know. Okay.
No, I'm yours. I mean, what?
Well,
When you say that, Kubo just he's like leaves. He's like, oh, he's adult. He can do what he wants. He's adult. Oh my god. Oh my god.
wait, so where are you going, Kubo? Because you can't go back home.
No, I think he's just stepping out of the circle. Like, I'm just giving them space to talk because to Kubo, it felt like they clearly want to talk about something and maybe they don't want Kubo around. So he's gonna like check on Days. I'm just waiting. I'm just giving them space. That's all.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go off to the side if I'm not needed and kind of do like a rest, I guess, but also like read my book.
Do a short rest, okay?
If I have
Yeah.
left, I could give you something if you need help or like it's just a quick little.
Oh no, I took no damage. I just used a lot of spell slots. So I was just hoping.
Yeah, Kyle, you're pointing.
But before you walk away, Kyle's gonna hey, can I see those swords, by the way?
See those what?
Oh, my swords. Why? You like them? He hands you swords.
Well, you know, swords that killed Vavin should, you know, be given proper respect, and I could use them for display here. So he's just gonna be holding him for the second while he continues the conversation with Boris.
Will you give them
Okay.
back? Okay. And then he real quick. I'm so sorry. Kubo real quick, like kind of jumps again and like awkwardly hands Boris the gauntlet that he ripped out of Robin's hand because he's a Fed and he's afraid of him. And he leaves.
Okay. So I'm going to touch on two things here real quick. Marge, you're kind of sitting off by the side like a good chunk away, and you just kind of see all this happen. It's very exciting. These are like some of the most well-known people in the city. Like you start to recognize, like, oh my gosh, that's Ariana Kadros. She's a very important like lawyer that handles a lot of really high priority cases. And then like you see Boren, who's like a spokesperson for the federal government in Sheen City. And so you kind of see like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of a lot of really important things from the side here. And you can kind of inject yourself at any point you choose. And so feel free to raise your hand when you're like, I want to get in here. I think Boren, you want to?
Well, yeah, I was trying to like find a good moment. So I guess if like if Kubo is going to, if they're kind of gonna break out a bit and be in smaller groups, I feel like she would approach either Kubo or Leo, but probably Kubo because Leo is resting. And since she's no longer fighting, I imagine her swollification is probably wearing off.
So you're gonna go like walk in fully grandma style?
In the process, it's gonna like as she approaches Kubo, she just like slowly starts shrinking back down. And by the time she reaches him, she's full granny, and she just kind of like yanks on his sleeve, and she's like, listen here, I just made a deal with some stinky smoky sore that ruined my apartment. I chased a dragon. There was a blue man. I revived my love of killing Yagrun dwarves and all of their little creepy doodads. What is going on?
Okay, so a lot of things happening. You walk up. I wanted you to roll me an insight check, Kubo, as well as pretty much anyone else in the party. And you can hear Stikas, like, as you put him away, there's the blade goes down to a hilt, and he's kind of like, oh, we're going in secretive. We're going in sneaky. Okay. You got a 7. Kubo looks to you, and it's clear that she thinks as you walk up, like, oh, it's an old person that didn't run away when I threw the tables around. As you first walk up, and then as you start to explain things, you see Kubo's face change to, what the hell is this crazy woman talking about? As Stikas goes, what the hell? What the hell? I thought we were being sneaky. What the hell? As you tell everything to Kubo.
There's a moment I think Kubo would very slowly, gingerly, like reach out the like almost touch you to make sure that you're actually real, because this actually works really well. Like, he thinks that you are an apparition and that he's just high. So he's oh god, sorry, I apologize.
Aberration.
Sorry, I've just had a very interesting day and I'm just really up right now. I wasn't sure if you were like real.
Did anybody else roll insight on her that they want to give me the score?
I wanted to, but I was resting and reading a book, so I was like, I'm doing too many things. It wouldn't like
you're out of
yeah.
it.
I'll do an investigation later, but
Okay.
Kyle is definitely more distracted with other things right now.
We'll get to what Oren is saying to everybody here after this kind of exchange. So you're
oh yeah. Sorry, what's your name again? Mrs. Ma'am?
Arge.
How quaint. Lovely, charming. My name is
She's like stands up, but she's like 2 feet shorter than Kubo. It's just...
I think it was like yes, wonderful to meet your acquaintance. My name is Kubo. That's my sister Deza somewhere.
I think Deza like offers you a little water canteen. Like
she's really great.
the rest of the old ladies have gone back to town on a bus. Would you like to do so as well, ma'am?
She like smacks the canteen, not like out of her hand, but just like away. And she's like, "That's not why I'm here. I need to know what's going on."
She saw Dad, and like she like apparently has been following us, and I think she killed one of those meat things that shot Month's guy.
Deza like tries to process all of this as well. All this while, like as you get more aggressive with them, you can feel Stikas kind of going like, "Yes, spill the blood of the Angelkin. Yes, ah!" like kind of going like in your background. And Deza is just kind of
holds the hilt up, and she's like smacking it. She's like, shit. Like,
okay, a lot going on here.
I am also a sword lover. If you don't mind a moment, we're just waiting. Like my friend over there. I point to Leo. He's just resting. He's like a wizard. Maybe he can help. Or like points to Kyle. Kyle is like smart. And then back towards Odina, where she's doing the dragon you saw. That's my girlfriend Odina. She's just doing things.
Mars like looks back and forth between like the dragon and the person, and she's like,
"It's great."
Can I overhear this? Out of curiosity?
Yeah, I think this is a very chaotic moment, but yeah, it's very clear that this person has wandered up and has started asserting themselves as important, and they're an old woman.
When she points to me and says I'm smart, I'm just gonna turn around like this and say, "I'm Batman."
Oh my
"Oh my gosh!"
All right.
It's just Kyle. I can't look. I'm a little afraid that he fucked my. I mean, never mind.
It had to be done eventually, so I mean.
It's over. It's out of my mind. I am fully dissociating.
A lot of chaotic feelings here. We're gonna zoom in on Leo. What are you doing, Leo, during this short break? Kind of as this is all this chaotic happening.
I'm gonna look through books of celestial beings as well as through history of unseen beings shown throughout time. And then recall back to the moment when I quote unquote died, when the tower fell on me, and how I wasn't able to see the celestial realm or like the hellish realm. Like I was just being judged by 2 different beings, which is a lot different than what I'm usually able to do. So I'm thinking if I can see this other realm, maybe I can summon this creature who lives in the unseen realm. And so I will do so. We'll try to do so.
I think you get all of the script figured out and you go to start doing this and you kind of feel your magical reserve / your sorceress will wanting. You know what I mean? Like you kind of like reach down, you're like, I got all the words, I know the identity of this being I want to summon. And you like, oh my gosh, I'm tired. Like, holy shit, like cool. You know, there's kind of this moment of like, you've got all the pieces together, but you're gonna pass out if you do this right now. You can still choose to do it, but you're gonna be pretty much tapped out.
If you pass out, I'll carry you.
Oh no, I'm already tapped out a lot. I'm like, my character's really exhausted at this point because I did a lot of casting. I'm gonna understand more of like what I've been reading. Oh my god. That was gonna ruin my concentration.
I said that's what cocaine is for.
My concentration will be ruined. I'll keep it in mind, but I'm gonna wait for a full night's rest at least to continue it again without risk.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think that yeah, you sense that you have everything lined up. It's just been a big day. And so everyone's here at this place. Boren kind of finishes just talking everything. Odina finally gets out of her rage and comes back. And the Ogren dwarves are all getting negotiated. Okay. The Ogren dwarves are all getting like things figured out, and the feds are all covering the Ogren dwarves. There's a bunch of them like lined up, all tied up, the ones that haven't been actively eaten by Odina. And Odina comes back, full feral woman. She's like not wearing clothes, like her hands are still giant claws, like blood all over her. She's like half morphed in. And she's like, okay, guys, I got him. I got a lot of them. It was really good.
You sure did, babe. Would you like some water?
She grabs the canteen. It fits very small in her hand, and she just like crunches it as she's drinking it. And I think this is going to kind of be the end of this moment. Leo, I'm going to say that as you guys are all like, this is kind of all at the same time now. You guys have asked this question. Kyle turned around and said, I'm Batman. Boren basically said, like, we're going to resolve this. And the Peregrine is welcome back in the city, assuming the Divines aren't going to mess him up, which I cannot guarantee his safety, because that whole thing with Bishop Parsley was totally out of my jurisdiction. You're on our side here, and we do have further communication. He kind of looks meaningfully to you, Kyle, specifically. Our agreement, as it existed before, is terminated. You've completed your end of the bargain, but we have other deals for you. And he kind of points to the rest of the crew, your team here, assuming you are all a team. And basically he's like, we need to rest. You guys are exhausted.
We need to create our Ginyu stick force poses.
I'm just in the back holding my animals.
Yeah, it's different every time depending on what Leo summons.
Right? Like it's so hard. We'll have to change every time.
That's like 90% of your team meetings is how do we pose. The last thing I want to offer here is Leo, you're tired. This has been a tap out period. When you finally kind of address this old woman that's seemingly trying to insert herself into what's happening in your team, you spot the blade. And with your education, as well as what you know about like divines, you immediately know that this is the blade Stikus, the weapon of Asphodel. And this is like a lot of prophecy stuff. Like you're a powerful summoner. You can do a lot of nasty stuff if you wanted to. Like a lot of your education was figuring out which demons and angels not to summon to avoid it bringing the end of the world. And this blade is like one of the key ways that the world can end. And there's like a whole prophecy around it. And so this is a very scary weapon. This is a very scary thing to kind of be in your presence. Like a lot of like scholars and divine sorcerers like make it their life's goal to find and either use the sword to end the world or just get rid of the sword and send it back to hell. So this is like a very powerful item.
Am I noticing this as I'm walking away, or is this like prior when she was talking?
I'm saying this is like right as Boren finishes talking and right as you like, realize you're too tired to summon your new summon.
Can I do an insight check on her?
Yeah, roll an insight.
I want to know like her intentions and also like look fully into her details and like know like what her race is entirely. Like, does she look human?
Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be very
fairly
obvious
human
to Marge
Okay.
that you're looking over her, but everybody in the group.
Oh, that's fine. I'll make it obvious. I am not subtle.
That's true.
I do not care. I do not care. Insight. Okay. I really have to look for it every time. 25.
Holy cow.
My eyeballs.
Rachel, please tell Leo everything that you feel about
What are you trying to do here, girl?
Yeah, like, and I'll tell you what he senses about Stikus as much as is possible.
So what she's feeling about the situation?
A whole everything, like just
Yeah, I want to know like your intentions of being here and addressing us. Like, why us? Like,
Well, Marge, more than anything, Marge wants to understand like what the hell just happened because she was just having like a peaceful, relatively peaceful day in her apartment, and then this sword showed up and suddenly she's buff again. Suddenly she's fighting battles that are like very reminiscent of the battles she fought in her youth. And so she has a very deep-seated hatred for Yaguan dwarves and wants to know what's going on, why they're here, why there was a dragon, why there was a blue man. She's just really confused. She wants to get it set straight so that she knows what she can do in order to like benefit other people.
okay. So, so to me, this whole sword thing is fresh, and this is not something she's been carrying since day one of birth.
oh yeah, I think you can
Okay.
tell immediately that
She's had it for a couple hours.
Okay, good. Okay.
yeah.
So I feel like she doesn't know what really she's holding, so I'm just gonna keep it to myself and proceed on my merry way.
Sounds good. Okay. So I'm gonna say that the crisis is over. You're all able to kind of go to where you need to rest. I think Warren offers to give you guys security out in your country home, which of course he knows where it is. And he kind of offers to give you guys some protection at the Cadros summer home as you guys kind of reconvene. And there's a moment of awkwardness where they're basically like, do you want to involve this young woman, Boren says, pointing to Marge, in your operation? Is she a part of the group? I wasn't aware of, and I'm usually aware of most things. He kind of gestures at her.
Like shoves her hand.
We'll have to see. I mean, the way our contract is structured, I maintain the right to bring in independent contractors.
Yeah.
Leo, what?
Just yeah, I agree with Kyle.
just back me
Yeah, I'm
up.
just like yeah.
He goes, you guys really play it fast and loose. I hope she's not a double agent. Okay, great.
Kubo comes back to it, is like, well, we're just talking about Marge.
Yeah, you know her name. Okay, friends, great. That's fine. That's good. All right. Well, I'm gonna meet you guys back out at your country home.
Oh, you know where that is? That's so good to know that.
While Boren keeps talking, Kyle's gonna like almost absent-mindedly be fiddling with Kubo's
The box.
weapon. What? No, not the box. We're not going nuclear here.
Oh, not yet. Wow.
Inside joke, you don't.
The eradication of the angels wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
And just kind of as he's just kind of gonna zone out as Boren keeps talking, and he holds the sword straight out as copper wires begin just kind of sinuously snaking out from beneath Kyle's coat, and they start wrapping themselves over the blades in like an intricate pattern as it grows thicker and writhes and matches the large portions of it begin matching the like tattooed rune work stuff, kind of meant to look reminiscent of the tattoos Kubo's actually wearing.
that's so
And then all of a sudden there is a bright flash of lightning and then light. And he just kind of like, smacks him on the ground real quick. And then just like tosses him over to Kubo. There you go.
Enjoy.
real, right? Thank you. No,
Deza's like, you're fine. You're not tweaking. This is real.
does that even actually go or was that the Ritalin?
It's like, as far as possible to know. Congratulations.
Okay.
What did you do to my brother's swords? That's like,
I sent it in private chat.
Oh,
I made him shiny.
They're really
Period.
fucking nice.
she's looking over him like, holy shit.
Yeah, take a look at this. Look at this. Thank you, Kyle.
So we're gonna fast forward a little bit. Marge, you are treated with a very strange kind of like, like pleasantry, but they kind of allow you to come along. I think Leo, you notice that Leo is looking at you and your blade the most, but is very subtle about it. And Leo seems to understand something you don't. While the rest of the party just kind of seems to, just in the hecticness of it, they've allowed you to be shuffled in. Mostly on Leo's, yeah, like really, that's like the largest thing that's like maintaining your part in the party. But as you're there, you start to understand more of like where you're going and what's going on. You all get to the Cadros home, and it's clear that Peregrine is inside. You see there's a broken window up above. It seems like Ariana and Peregrine have been arguing, which is kind of very common now. But as you come up, Callie and Dorothy, which Callie is this demon tiefling woman, and Dorothy is her daughter. And Dorothy is, we've talked about her once before, but no one else in the party has seen her yet. She is this half tiefling, half Aasimar child that is very visually stark. She kind of has purplish skin, but with golden eyes. She's very obviously Aasimar and tiefling. Like, she cannot hide it because of how stark it is on her body. As you guys all drive up, Boren is there with you. She's just standing there with like a teddy bear, like the neck of a teddy bear in her hand, and is kind of looking out over all of you, very distrusting, but kind of like stays close to Callie. And Callie, kind of tired, goes, yeah, I figured this would happen someday, I guess. You're all welcome. We have some guest rooms. It's a very large country home. She's like, please do your best to make yourselves comfortable, and kind of welcomes everybody in. Boren comes up and is like enormous, and she's like, yeah, that's fine. Okay.
Is there anything I could do like to help? Hi, Dorothy.
You don't have any drugs on you, do you? She kind of leans in.
The bed, so
Please, just don't take
Oh,
me
you
to the
don't
house.
want me? Don't
No,
worry.
please,
Nope.
just don't.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, I don't. Then
She sees this old lady and just kind of gestures like,
she's sick.
she's sick. I'm
No,
so
sorry. She's cool. She's cool.
You're welcome.
She's Marge.
She looks to you, Kyle, and there's this moment where she's like, you may have seen each other at one point long time ago when Farrell was still running around casinos. And she just kind of goes, she kind of gives you a nod and is like, you're not, just kind of like a knowing nod. And she basically just welcomes everybody in to kind of take your long rests, get resolved. Are there any conversations you guys want to have as you guys are settling down for a long rest?
So nobody's told Odina yet.
As far as you can see, no. She's finally gone full human. She's wrapped up in a shawl. And Odina does not know that Fluellen has been captured.
But before you tell her, do you want to dose her? I'm just just asking.
No, I don't feel like as her partner that's like trusting her kind. But I can take her out into like
I can make a very relaxing cup of tea.
I'm gonna take her to a field, and if I die, it's okay. I mean, Dorothy, my darling niece, Dorothy's like staring. I'm sure from a corner menacingly. Just so you know, don't drink anything she gives you. It is poison. It is always poison. Awesome. Okay, and then I think
Challenge accepted. No, I kind of imagine that Kyle has created a game of letting people poison him and then trying to figure out the antidote in time. This has never come up before, but like I feel like that's a game, especially him and like Adlyria used to play, basically.
Yeah. I can see it. I can see it
because they're functional.
So I can wait, by the way, to do
that.
Yeah,
we'll pause it. We'll go to that in a little bit. Marge, Dorothy is an adorable toddler. Dorothy is like maybe like 7 or 6, and she is just the cutest little girl you've ever seen. She's just pretty cute, all that stuff. And I think Leo, I imagine you're wanting to go to bed pretty quick so you can summon, but I'll definitely allow you to summon tonight, right after you get some rest.
Ooh, in my dreams.
So is there anything you'd like to do? I want to give you a second, Marge, just because, you know, we've allowed you to transition over here. What kind of questions are you asking? What kind of things are you concerned about? You're muted. Oh.
No, it's good. I just I feel very behind, so I'm trying to think what direction to go. I'm not sure. Shucks.
Well, I'll tell you some very general information that you'd slowly start to glean, and then let me know if you have any other questions as we go in. Peregrine, the guy that your sword wants to kill, is a mob leader of the Circle, which is like a big, deep, like, you know, criminal cartel. You kind of discover this as you're hearing the FBI agents talk, or, you know, the feds talk, and all this stuff. And you know that he is an angel. He is a fallen angel, and he is the father of the tattooed young man and the woman that you're with the lawyer being their mother, Ariana. And so you kind of, that's one of the first things you start to glean, as this family kind of seems to have been uprooted by whatever happened here. That's like kind of the first bits of information that you get. And you realize that also the feds have been kind of using this situation, as well as Kyle's situation, as a method to kill the Yagran dwarves that have been trying to take over the city over time. And so you kind of like slowly, and now you realize, oh, that's that Warren. That's the guy that they were killing and they took the glove off of. And you kind of start to figure that out. Warren eventually, as you're kind of learning all this stuff, he kind of, while everybody's nearby, he goes, okay, first thing in tomorrow, we're having an all hands, and I'm going to tell you guys what the plan is, and maybe it'll line up with Peregrine's plans, maybe not. I'm getting a little spooked by how much we're sharing, but you guys killed Vavin. That's worth something. So yeah, hoorah team.
Turned it to goo.
So we'll say that Kubo goes off with Odina around this point, and Boren actually comes up to Kyle and he's like, hey, I kind of want to have a conversation with you as well.
Yeah, I ditto.
Yeah. So you guys kind of like surreptitiously walk out around the same time, and Boren's like, "Oh, I hope you guys have a good little lover quarrel, whatever's going on." And Odina goes beat red, just like, "Oh, nothing like that."
Does it matter? Sorry.
No, I just want to make sure we're giving you privacy. And he kind of gestures like back behind a barn with Kyle.
You may want to take this at least, Kubo. And I thought Kyle tosses you a vial of very powerful antitoxin.
The problem is I need to find days after this. Oh, just kidding. I mean, thank you, Kyle. I can't look at you anymore now.
You guys go your separate ways, and we're just going to roll the dice to see which conversation happens first. Okay, I hate when I roll the dice and I don't have any metric in my head. I'm just like, okay, so 1 through 10 is their conversation, and 11 through 12 is our This is weird. I'm both. Okay. So 1 through 10, that's Odina and Kubo. So you guys go out a good chunk, and she's just like, "Oh, that was invigorating." You know, like I haven't really gotten to bare my teeth like that in a long time, and that was, whoo, baby, that was nice. That was nice. Well,
I'm so glad. It was incredibly. I mean, it was incredibly impressive. It was incredibly erotic. I'm not gonna lie. And
all right.
Not to be creepy.
No, okay, yeah.
And I loved it, and I'm really grateful for your help. We literally we could have done that. And I just want you to know that I'm very grateful. There's a lot of good feelings. However, I think it's only fair to you. I was given and told some very bad news by Boren, who works with your mom, that we need to let you know.
Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Kubo starts to get incredibly sweaty. Okay, he's like, okay, so I'm just gonna say it, and I'm sorry, it's funny with this delivery. So apparently some of the dwarves kidnapped your mom, they're taking her back to Trellin. But we're gonna stop them. I mean, I want to. We can work on that. But they just caught it. I'm gonna stop talking now.
I think she just kind of like looks at you and just kind of processes what you said. It doesn't like fully sink in. And first you think she's gonna like roar out and kind of freak out, and she just starts to cry. She just kind of starts to crumple.
Kubo goes to like hold her.
Yeah,
Is
she
okay?
goes to her knees as she's just starting to
my
cry,
God.
and she just kind of cries into your shoulder for a bit.
It's like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I promise we're gonna do everything we can to get her back.
No,
It's
it's
okay.
okay. It's okay. She knows what she's doing. I didn't know. I mean, I thought that she was safe. She likes to stay safe. She likes to stay, you know, really. She's usually so far ahead of all their steps. You know,
Yeah,
like she's so connected. And she like sees the vial of antitoxin. She's like, "What's that?"
I don't know. Walking over, Kyle threw it at me, but it's just, I think he's worried about me and my little.
Well, I'm not gonna hurt you.
Oh, I know that. I really think that.
She kind of looks at the vial and she's like, "Are you sure you know that?" Because
No, 100%. Kyle threw it at me. I think it's because he saw me take a ton of cocaine earlier.
oh, well, we need to talk about that too.
I
That's,
promise. If it helps, it helps. If it helps.
You're just jealous you can't take cocaine because you're immune to poison.
If it helps. Dave's has been like taking it off and replacing it with Remalin, and I can tell because like it makes me focus. It doesn't make me high. So like, there's that. It's healthier. I've been told.
She's like laughs and then it kind of slowly degrades into a cry.
Yeah, no, I'm
It's
sorry.
like-
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, dear.
But yeah, anything else you want to say here outside of letting her know?
Oh, I think that he's just gonna be like, listen, I just want to let you know that like I said back there, you know, that's spooky. Like, I love you and I'm here to support you however we need. Sorry, it's okay, that's a lot.
You're gonna help me get her back, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, no worries. I'm gonna get her back. And honestly, like, whatever you need, do you want space? We can go back. I know because of Dorothy living here in Cali, their family, like, in areas you can chill that are kind of like secret room sort of a thing. If you'd like a moment alone, or like food that Dorothy hasn't touched, because again, just to reiterate this, she will try to poison like everything. I don't know what it is. She really is into that.
She sounds like a great kid.
She is.
You guys start going back to the house.
When we
kinda-
go back, can he like, if it's right, can he just give her like a little head smooch, like, it's okay.
Yeah, you
Cute.
can
Ah,
it's
okay.
received well.
Yay.
So Boren and Kyle, you guys are having this conversation at the same time. Kind of, he takes you behind a bar and he goes, "Well, I didn't think you were going to finish this mission for a couple weeks, but here we are." And wow, impressive.
Good work.
Yeah, I gave you my word, and I'm a man of my word, and I'm telling you with my word that I am currently unable to get you at Laria for that conversation. I would if I could.
What happened?
She was with Fluellen when she got captured, and I'm sorry to let you know, but they were both caught
Lyria was with Fluellen. Why was it Lyria with Fluellen?
So she knew about the deal. She agreed to meeting you after the whole killing Bob, and you can tell he is incredibly sweaty. He is like very furry, and he's like, and so she was waiting kind of in the wings for the post mission debrief to kind of come in and resolve things with you. And she was with Fluellen, and they were.
I mean, Fluellen's, you know, been willing to overlook the stuff I've been up to. I don't think she would with Adlyria. Are you? Why was Adlyria with Fluellen?
Because Adlyria wanted to talk to you, and they were friends. They are friends. And the thing is if I could give you the opportunity to talk to him, I would. Adlyria's been taken to Torellin, Kyle. She's been abducted. While we were taking care of this thing and we were making sure that the dwarves snuck in and they took them both. I didn't want you to freak out in front of everyone before, so I didn't mention it. But if she was here, she would talk to you. And I don't want to wrap you into another mission, but the other mission would be potentially getting back Adlyria. They found out that she's been trying to connect with the Corin family. They found out that Adlyria has been trying to weasel her way into their ranks. I don't know how much they know. For all I know, Adlyria is fine. They don't know that she's a double agent. Maybe she used Fluellen. I don't know what happened, Kyle. I'm just telling you what I do know, and that I'm going to give you everything in my power to make sure you get her back. Okay. And he kind of lets that sit with you for a bit.
Well, obviously, You are. If you haven't fulfilled your end of the bargain yet, that means I still got you on the hook.
Right. No, you can tell that he is like, he's very unhappy that this happened, but it actually works in his favor really well because he didn't know how he was going to loop you into this next mission he wanted you to do. And so like, he's really trying to put all his cards on the table, which doesn't mean a lot to someone like you that like is always spy master and everything, trying to figure everything out. But he's basically saying like, we had everything under control. We thought we had everything figured out. And the Ogren dwarves just, they had a backup plan. They thought they could get Vavin out as well if anything went bad, and they couldn't get him out, but they did get them. And I don't know if Adlaria was part of the effort to grab Fluellen, and they're just using her as a poker chip for the dragon, or if they're both being captured and they're both unable. Adlaria will reach out and contact you if she's able, I'm sure.
You said we're behind a barn. Is there anyone in the barn right now?
I'm gonna say no. I think like the FBI has done a quick, the feds have done a quick like scan of the area to make sure it's secure, but outside of that, there hasn't been anything.
Yeah, Kyle's fists just kind of clench, and so does his jaw, and then he just turns and starts throwing all kinds of nonsense out of his pockets at the barn just as fast as he freaking can. There's explosions of lightning, thunder, acid, clearly just regular bombs, smoke bombs. Doves are just flying out of the back of his coat like crazy. He just throws this massive temper tantrum and just blows the shit out of this barn.
Sorry.
Incredible. Yeah. I think Boren, like at first is like, whoa. And then he like realizes like, nah, he's good. He's good. He just kind of steps back and watches, and he starts counting the doves as they come out, and he goes through a couple hands. A couple hooves. Yeah. And when you're finally seem to be like resolved, he goes, we're going to talk about this. We're going to make a plan tomorrow. It's going to be all figured out. Okay. I can't promise she's okay, but I think she is. We both know Adlaria is a capable woman.
Terrellin is a dangerous place for me to go.
I know. Ooh, team. Okay. So we're gonna say you guys all get a long rest. Everybody feel free to rejuvenate everything. You're all back up to full health. You all get all your spell slots back. And we're going to visit on Leo real quick and go through his summon. So Leo, you've gotten your, as few nights as you need your half elf, so I think you get like full rest at 4 hours.
Yes.
So it's very late at night, and you're able to do this summon here and bring up whatever creature you're hoping to bring up here.
Okay, perfect. I would just do this in my room. Why not?
Yeah.
Risk bothering anybody, especially in this place. I'll make space with my bed or whatever. I'll bring down the books, well, the multiple books that have mentioned said creature, and hoping I can, if I continue having these passages in my head, I'll constantly thinking of it, maybe it'll help me reach something, a little glimpse or whatever I can grab and just pull with all my might. And so I shall kneel on said floor with no summoning circle and try my best to summon this being of unknown origins.
Yeah. So, this is a strange summon, and you're really trying to branch out from what you're normally able to do. You reach out not into heaven or hell, but into that courtroom, into that purgatory you were at before, and you find what back then was kind of this vague shadow, and it's kind of this interesting experience because you reach out and you grab them, and there's this surprise whoop, kind of like not being used to being interact with this energy. And it's this very kind of like clerical thing. It's very much like somebody that's not used to being active, that's so used to like writing things down, that's used to just being a surveyor. And you know, and you kind of get this strange moment of like seeing its form in heaven as basically being this like kind of balding, clerical, just kind of chill guy. And as you pull him to the material plane, his kind of real form is revealed. And standing before you is this little sprite-like creature with like opalescent green eyes. You can feel free to share this image in the chat so people can see it.
Definitely.
And kind of a strange skull with a strange head. And there's no sound that comes from it. And you kind of get this strange feeling like this thing didn't bother to change its nature as it came to the mortal plane. This is actually what it is, which is this strange little like faceless sprite creature. And it looks at you silently.
Well, I'm gonna sit there in awe that I even did it on my first try. Wow. This I have to write this down. And I get my books. It's like I'm literally the first person in history to do this.
Yeah, you start quickly writing stuff down. This thing is a neutral divine entity. It is not of heaven. It is not of hell. It is of the law space between those two places. So there's probably no one else in the mortal realm that could summon this creature because you can reach through heaven and hell. And so, yeah, you start to summon this thing. And you hear a small voice speak up next to you. It's like, can you reach into hell and heaven too? Can you bring my dad here? And you see Dorothy has snuck into the room silently and is there with you with this freakish creature.
Well, little one. I'm gonna in my head, I'm going to tell the witness to come over and like float behind her and then just land on her and then I'm gonna cast sleep.
On,
and just
on
have,
her and
yeah.
the creature?
No, I'm gonna have the creature cast sleep on her.
Yeah, you do so. I mean, you can roll hit points. I'm almost positive you'll put her to sleep.
It's my spellcast modifier. Right. Double check rule.
It's kind of funny.
For a spellcasting modifier for sleep, you just roll the number of dice, and her hit points is less than that. She falls asleep.
Exactly.
Is it-
So I mean, she has like 7 hit points. Like she's
Right?
like
Yeah.
Kyle.
That's almost impossible.
Oh, roll 5d6, 5d8.
Yeah.
Okay, 5.
Unless you were to roll a 1 on literally every single one of them. And
I
it's
got a
2
25.
You could get 1, 2, and still fail.
You see that? Yeah, you see that she starts to like realize what's happening. She's like, no, and just kind of weakly falls over and is fully asleep. And the strange little creature just kind of over her and kind of looks curiously at it. And she's asleep.
Well, thank you. Wow, that was a perfect trial.
Awkward questions.
Well, anyways, we're gonna send her back, but welcome. I'm gonna have you into my team. I have you throughout history, and I like point to the books that you were an observer of time in general. You've witnessed and everything, and just only observe. And so now I ask of you to not only observe the world, but also my team, but also mostly myself, but the individuals I work with.
You're used to your summons being very communicative, like talking back and forth, like deliberating with you. This thing is completely silent, both psychically and verbally. And like as you like address it, it kind of just does a small nod. And this thing feels unerringly neutral. You don't sense any hellish or divine energy from it. This thing feels like as if it's just like a ghost, but a ghost but not of hell. It's just like a thing. Like it may as well just be immortal, like in terms of like divine sense. And it kind of addresses you. It doesn't seem to reject anything you're saying, and it just looks over the books and is very curious.
And I'm gonna have two of it, like two more of it, pick up the girl and like just float her back to her room and into her bed, and it's all a dream.
Okay, you float the girl back, put her into bed, yeah, we're gonna say that that's your summon. That will just be around you slash.
Oh yes, and I go to bed is very excited and joyful as I was able to literally make history now. Like this is
Yeah.
actually something that people can learn from me, and I'll pat myself in the back multiple times to bed, literally.
Yeah, you continue, get some rest, get some additional sleep. You're feeling extra giving with yourself today. Now, the next day comes up. Morning, Callie makes way more eggs than she needs. She overcompensates. She tries to feed everybody here. Rachel, I want to check in with you on what you try to do, because now we're all in like the same room, and basically Boren is getting ready to give a pitch, and Peregrine is standing off to the side, pretty injured, but is quickly recovering.
Can Kubo be like laying on hands on him or something, just trying to help her?
You go to heal him. He's like, stop it, I'm fine.
It's like, Dad, I'm just.
No, stop. I'm fine. I don't need your, it's my magic you're using on me. Like it's a little cyclical. It's not. I don't need it. I don't need it. Getting a little fight. Anything that you're like, because now you're seeing, and Stikas is definitely hungry for him, and Peregrine just kind of sits and look at it. You can see him kind of has this air of like, well, why the fuck not? What else do we have going on here? Okay. That's kind of the energy he seems to address the sword with.
He's not like Grumpy Marge. He almost died. That's my dad. I don't know if you knew that.
No, that's fine. I just she's not sure she should like talk about like this energy that she's getting from the sword toward Peregrine. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Peregrine.
Peregrine. She's not sure if that's something she should talk about right now, especially because like she did just kind of show up, and like there hasn't been like a ton of trust built up yet or anything. So she decides to keep that to herself for now, but she just kind of tucks the hilt like down and away and out of sight to avoid making.
Yeah, I mean, we'll go through the whole session where I put you on a stool with a bright light in your face later, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. We haven't had time.
Don't worry about it. You're gonna have.
That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Am I supposed to like start conversation, or can she like
Yeah, you can.
offer to help make the food?
Oh, you help Callie make some food.
There's like rolls up her sleeves and she's like, I make really good beans. You got any beans in here? Like
breakfast beans. Roll me a survival check. Just see how you do this. As you guys are all like settling into this kind of dining room area, Bourne uses this opportunity to kind of talk about everybody. There's like paper plates going around with like eggs and food and stuff, and everybody's kind of settling in here. And this is like an all hands meeting. Bourne gestures to Peregrine. He's like, I want you to feel comfortable here. Can you make things a little silent in here? And you see that he casts some pretty high level, like the rug comes out and the rug is in the center, and Peregrine uses more energy than he normally would. And he kind of expands this circle of silence out so it covers this room. So you guys are pretty safe from any detection. I will say that Kyle, your watcher, can see in here. And so you can't, Leo, excuse me. Leo, your little watcher guy can see her, but you are very confident that it is not aligned with heaven. It's not, its job is not to report back to heaven, so it's not really causing danger, but it will see whatever's happening here.
Am I in the breakfast room? Like,
This is everybody. This is an all.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I entered. My bad.
No, we're not sending you to the kiddie table.
No, I was like, oh, I don't know if like everyone's having breakfast first, and then I sleep in or whatever. Okay, so if I'm there, I wanna well, after like I'm finish eating my breakfast because I don't know if food would be cold because cold eggs is gross. But I'm gonna tell everyone to look next to everyone look to their right, and they shall see my little summon floating very close to each individual one of your faces.
What?
And
That's creepy as hell.
I really meet the new addition to our team. This is the witness, well, the gray witness to be precise. There's really no name because of history and stuff. Well, that's gonna be its name for now. But you can you can say I'm the one who discovered this creature. So, uh, yeah.
So we're back to birds, huh? In full circle.
We're back.
Well, it's more of like a squid thing. Well, it's more like a ghost.
I think Peregrine, as he sees them, kind of leans in and kind of regards Leo, and he's like, "You're a force to be reckoned with, my young friend. And this is exciting for me. I'll let Boren give his spiel and then totally show him up." And so Boren starts talking. He goes, "All right, everybody, congratulations." He holds up like the gold hand and kind of throws it down in the center of the room. That is a glaive of the
Did you
Pharaoh
just challenge me
family.
to a duel?
Yeah! Lift
What?
off his bow.
I said, did you just challenge me to a duel?
No.
Please don't fuck my dad.
Peregrine stands up. What? He's like, all right, we don't have time to unpack that right now. This glaive is part of the Pharaoh
Not that
family.
way.
Never, please, God. Boren's distracted.
I think Leo's the one that spent more time eye banging him. Like, just
Yeah.
because.
Jesus.
Peregrine's like, I know, I'm attractive. Let's move on. Ariana's like, yes. Boren finally continues with like his explanation. Okay, everybody fucks everybody. I get it. Great. The glaive is from the Pharaoh family, and they are the head. They are the royal family of the Iagran dwarves. You have killed one of what we believe to be 6 family members. Here, Peregrine interrupts and goes, 5. The 6th died already. The woman has passed on. And Boren looks to Peregrine and is like, how the fuck do you know? We don't know. And you can tell this is really deep secret knowledge in Iagran, in like Iagran politics.
We know some things.
Kubo, high five.
Peregrine looks to you and like, Kubo, you have no idea.
Yeah, Kubo, high five.
I'm trying to make the Fed not kill us.
What was that, Kyle?
I was like, yeah, Kubo, high five.
The high fives and he goes, oh, my sins are weighing on.
Boren goes, well, to continue, this team seems particularly equipped to negotiate their way into Remalin, kill the rest of the Pharaoh family, and finally destabilize the Iagran stronghold. We believe that after this is done, he kind of looks around and like, this is a big statement. We can completely undo the Iagran political structure. I'm saying complete dissolution of an entire country, of this entire Iagran central country within Remalin. This is like, these are clearly saying like, we're going to place a large enough coup to destroy a country. Now, Kyle, I know that you're uniquely, equipped to do this. He kind of points to Kubo and the rest. Like, I can sense a lot of interest here.
You know that I'm Sue Vauchelane, right?
I think that Peregrine kind of hears that as well. He's like, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Boren's like, I didn't know that. So to give some context to the rest of like the table here, this is some deep lore for Kyle, and this is something that is a big thing to share with the group. Sue Vauchelane is a large family in Remalin. It is not actually Iagran. This is actually like
Bauschaline is the family name. The Sue is kind of like a prefix that means I'm like a unwanted, death-marked bastard, basically.
yeah. And so this is what he was basically a bastard that was sired under this Bauschaline name to be a sleeper agent.
Right.
And so he's a bastard of a noble family. This isn't Iagrin, this is Torellin.
Right.
And so if he were to be detected outside of the Iagrin mountain, or really just kind of anywhere in Torellin in a public way and be known to be Sue Bauschaline, he'd basically be like, it's completely legal to kill him at any point for any reason. Like, he would not be criminal, no one would be criminally prosecuted to kill him.
So you don't think you're not treated like a person?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, yeah, I'm, ne aquas et igni, but yeah.
That's really fucked up, man.
Boris goes, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm not there.
You rarely even use your name Kyle, in my defense. Like, you're probably not going to get detected. Probably.
We'll protect it. You break a couple kneecaps and make an omelet.
Peregrine kind of leans forward and he goes, if I may interject, Borin, we can do a good thing for Remalin. Of course, here. We'll destabilize Iagrin. The Iagrin's been trying to fiddle with our politics for many hundreds of years. But here's another interesting thing. He points to that little eye guy, and he said, Borin, this is going to be over your head, so you can just piss off. I told you guys my plan before, right? We're going to become gods, right? I'm going to make you all gods. Oh, March. He kind of senses your sword and he goes, creepy. Fuck, okay. But he kind of goes through this. And so without like role playing the whole thing, what he was trying to do in Sheen City was develop a strong enough core of sinners, basically. People that were absolutely going to hell. This is the Corrin family through the casinos to basically get a high profile case of people going to heaven or hell. This is basically enough people that were so obviously going to heaven or hell that once that case started, he could come in and use Leo or use some other force to get a hanged court. And once the court was hanged, he could subvert the entire hierarchy of heaven. Peregrine could literally become God / allow all mortals to never be judged again by heavenly courts. He could really F stuff up. And that's been his goal the moment he came down from heaven. And so he's been trying to do this in different ways in different cities over time. And Sheen City is the closest he's gotten. But now because of Bishop Parsley's stuff, he can't do that anymore. All the work that he's been doing has kind of gotten subverted because all the spirits he's bringing down, all this stuff he's doing behind the scenes, got undone by basically heaven coming in. What he's saying here is that the Farah family are already so evil and so clearly going to hell that it would be a high enough priority case that he could do his plan all over again, assuming Leo was there and assuming Leo had the right soul at the right time. So that's kind of the bigger story. And he gives you a handful of names. He actually produces a list of angels that he gives to you, Leo, and basically says, these are the targets. If you can have any of these angels summoned at the time of this court that we eventually work toward, we can pull off this plan. And he actually knows all of the Farah family members because they're famous in, hellish circles. They're famous in hell. They're famous in heaven. They are destined for hell. And so these are all Farah family. The father of the family is called Parvel.
Okay.
He is the highest ranking. He's effectively the king of the Iagrin dwarves. He's someone that even Borin would know about. Parvel. But his wife, his legal wife, has died. Probably within the past year to 3 years.
Was that the one that Peregrine mentioned had already died?
So no, Parvel is alive. Parvel's wife has died.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Is that the one that he mentioned? Because he said one of the females is dead.
Yes, that's the female that he mentioned is dead.
Yeah.
Now there's an oldest brother named Fester.
Fester? Oh God, sorry.
There's an elder sister named Serenity. There is a middle child called Borosis, and these are all Farah. And then there's a youngest daughter named Vespa. And then the last child was Warren.
Princess
Man, they had
Vespa.
kids.
Actually, when you
It's
said
Princess Vespa.
Princess Vespa,
when-
if they use those terms.
You've seen Spaceballs, right?
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot this other name is Princess Vespa. Yeah. Oops.
I just want to say, if it's okay to the table, when he's like, yeah, and then there was Warren, and Kubo's like, yeah, took care of that.
Yeah, high five!
Yeah! Go!
And
Better rot in hell, that son of a bitch.
Peregrine further like elucidates basically like they are all in the same court. So basically when the last of that family dies, all of them that are dead are just relaxing in purgatory. They have not been judged yet.
So we have to kill them to make sure they go to hell.
Precisely.
know.
And when that happens, and Peregrine points to you, Leo, you need to have any of the angels on that list under a contract with you.
So you just want one.
It only takes one to not vote for my plan to work. Now and he kind of looks over to you and looks over to Ariana. I have not had a family for most of my life. These kids and all that, this is kind of my Hail Mary. The fact that I'm even telling anybody this plan is ludicrous. He looks to Bor and he's like, you say anything, you're fucking dead. And he's like, this is my Hail Mary, okay? I've tried to do this plan many times on my own and have failed for hundreds of years. I'm hoping you, and he kind of points at Deza and Kyle and Leo, and he kind of gets to Marge and he's like, whatever, I don't.
I'll warm up to you.
I'm hoping you guys.
been like 70 years. No, he doesn't.
He's like a huge softie.
I can hear all of this. I can hear all of this. He sits back and he goes, you're kind of my shot here. The last thing he's going to be saying here, I think, is he pulls out of his jacket these 4 poker chips that Kubo saw before. And he goes, Deza, I'm going to put you in charge of the casinos. You are now the circle in Sheen City. You understand? And I think Deza just goes like, but as of course, as long as it's okay with your elder brother, who I'm putting in charge of taking care of Leo and making sure that he can complete my end of the mission.
Yeah, Deza, you're like incredibly smart and you're not addicted to any drugs, which means I think you'd be better. But I'm still gonna help you out. We can discuss it later if you want. I don't want you to feel like this is on you. This is insane. What's her name gonna be? You gotta get a name.
He spits in his hand and it's a little bit of like the blood pool, and he puts his pinky in it and he holds it up to Deza and he's like, put your finger in there.
You just like act a little bit more excited.
Yeah. Oh, holy sacred name. Oh gosh. And Deza kind of comes on and says, I dub thee vicious. And
Period.
she takes it and just goes, yeah, I know. His first thing, he looks to Kai like, shut up. Just spells everything. He's very grumpy. But he gives you these chips. These chips are kind of your get out of jail free card. These chips will allow you to change at the cost of all of the people's luck in a casino in Sheen City to change one roll as if it's a portent roll to a 1 or a 20.
Isn't this like the best way to kill people? That's sick.
Yeah, so these, you can utilize these at extremely high cost, and Deza has been charged with keeping the casinos running to make those work. But when you use those, you can change any roll with someone that you can see once per round, like a portent roll, to a 1 or a 20.
Oh, so we can use it more than once.
5 times.
5 times.
But each time you use it, it's basically like setting off a bomb in a casino.
So we
Not
get
literally
1.
that,
Oh, yeah.
but close to that.
I think that Kubo has like star eyes, and I think he hugs his dad. Just like, oh,
Okay. Look, any one of you could have a prayer, let heaven know I'm here, and ruin my plan.
Oh, please don't.
But I'm taking this chance.
Praying time.
His gestures at Kyle. Taking this chance because I'm getting old and I love my kids and I want to trust you guys to fulfill my mission. And push come to shove, we still have that really scary sword. Welcome to the team, Marge.
See, it's getting better. He's getting more. It's better.
Okay, stop it.
Everybody does the polite, like.
Boren kind of steps in and he goes, this is all above my head, all above my pay grade, but if you guys kill the Ogren family, the Farrer family, we're golden. We're good.
Fuck yeah, I vote for that.
You're in? Kyle, you know they have...
Where is
Sorry,
she
I
being
won't
kept?
We just know that she's been taken with the Ogren dwarves.
Do you know how we can get to Llewellyn? Because that's also a huge part of this. So Dinah knows. And
Dinah kind of bristles a little bit. We just know that the few Ogren dwarves that made it out with them.
okay. Well, we'll just, hey, no problem. We'll just take the fight to them and make them pay for taking Llewellyn. But yeah.
I owe Llewellyn one anyway, so.
And I mean, along the way, if we kill the rest of the family, this is a really fun summer activity. I don't know. Murder.
Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't be in favor of a murder-based plan, but I think I can make an exception on this one.
I mean, me neither, but also, well, I can't say anything.
That's not true. No.
The strange three-eyed creature that's been floating around the room just kind of looks on unfeeling, and Peregrine kind of regards it. He says, I got a hell of a show for you in a couple of months here, buddy. That this kind of resolves as it sounds like everybody's on board with the mission here. It sounds like everybody's kind of okay with following this where it goes for now. I think you guys finish having your meal. Dorothy is staring daggers at Leo because she's not sure if what she saw was a dream or not, but she still is mad at Leo. Excuse me. Either way. I think we're kind of good to fall out of the story here. Is there anything people want to interject or mention as we go here?
How are we getting to Torellin? How far is it? I mean, I know this is kind of a Europe analog, but I mean, are we going to be spending basically a couple months on a boat?
We're gonna say it might be a full month on a boat.
Yeah, I get to make toys.
And so we'll kind of experience that. We'll spend like maybe 15, 20 minutes talking about the boat experiences. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna be giving Boris a shopping list for the lab that I'm gonna need set up to go, full on Frankenstein in the basement there.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you guys start to figure out all of those logistics. And before we end the recording here and just kind of chat, I wanted this game to be a little shorter because we went late last time. I wanted to give people some time to figure stuff out. This is going to be a very, very large scale dungeon. This is effectively going to be like finding your way to the entrance of the dungeon, navigating into the Ogren fortress, locating the central hubs. This is going to be like a very extended dungeon crawl. Like kind of the rest of our experience here is going to be like the city as dungeon. This is going to be an extremely hostile place where you guys will be able to disguise yourself very easily, but like a lot of danger a lot of the time. And it's going to be us trying to track down these, 4 people potentially to assassinate them if that ends up being where we want to go.
Oh.
So I'm going to try and make this is going to be us like in a very kind of crunchy, hostile nation dungeon crawl vibe. And we can negotiate more like what you need as well. Because I think that getting into the Ogren fortress might involve some knowledge of Priscilla, because Priscilla is kind of this like treasure hunter who knows a lot of history, and that can involve Marge. Like there's a lot of moving pieces to get into here. And even though Kyle is able to, through Mastermind Rogue shenanigans, probably be able to find an entrance, it might be messier than finding some archaeological entrance, something that's like a secret long lost thing. So there's a lot of options here of how you guys can enter this mountain. But that's kind of the vibe we're getting into here. Does everybody have anything they want to mention before we end the recording for now? Oh.
I'm not to talk too much. I want after the ender, however the talking goes, Kubo's gonna want to be his dad. puts his arm on his back and he's gonna go, huh. So, is Savage the one who told them to take the well? I know where to find him.
I haven't heard from Savage in a long time. But
So is there a chance that we can take him out? That's all I'm asking. Because some of this stuff was incredibly, not just like you talking to him, information that some of that stuff was like very spiteful. And to be fair, all I'm saying is I find it very believable that he could have targeted Odina's mom since we baited him.
he kind of points at like the poker chips in your hand, and he's like, "His life has always been in your hands, but you do what you need to do."
Pickle.
Can you guys hear that? Was I talking too quietly?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, well, we will visit back in and we're going to negotiate kind of all the information you bring with us. You may even get Priscilla to come with you. I mean, there's a lot of options here on how this month passes. But yeah, I hope this is still fun. I know this is not as crunchy. This is all kind of story stuff.
That's always what I like the most anyway, so.
Yeah, we're good.
Cool.
I'm excited to see what Leo has up his sleeve. It's very obvious, but I don't know.
Well, honestly, I knew that he wanted to create that creature, but I didn't realize he wanted it to not be heaven or hell. And so it's extremely interesting that it's this.
Yeah, because the bio of it was just like it watches everything. So it's just like it's basically the watcher. Like it's just spectating forever.
We're gonna stop the recording and keep on talking.